Hello and Assalamu alaikum. This is Ali Abbas. I'm again with my new topic in coordinate geometry, that is length of a line segment, or we can say distance between 2 points in coordinate geometry. So the distance formula is d equals to square root of x2 minus x1 whole squared plus y2 minus y1 whole squared. This is the formula for the distance. What is x2 minus x1? It's clear from the formula that it is basically the difference of x-axis. And what about y2 minus y1? It is basically the difference of the values of the coordinates in y-axis of the point. So there are different types of questions that usually come in CIs. First of the type is basically discussed here. That's basically 2 points are given, the coordinates are given, and we have to write down the length of PQ in terms of square root of n, and we have to tell the answer for that integer n. So how to solve it? First of all, we have to recognize what is point P and what is point Q. So P is 0 and 7. We have to suppose it is, if it is taken as the first point, we have to write down x1 and y1. Similarly, for point Q, we have to write down 10 and minus 1. So 10 is basically x2 because it's the x coordinate of the second point, and similarly, negative 1 is y2. So write down the formula which is written here. D, or we can say D in this case, is PQ. PQ means distance between 2 points, length of a line segment, or we can write down as D. Both are the same things. So PQ equals to square root of x2 minus x1 whole squared plus y2 minus y1 whole squared. So replace the values which are mentioned above, like you can say, what is x2? X2 is 10, square root of 10 minus what is x1? X1 is 0 whole squared, then plus what is y2? Y2 is negative 1 and minus 7 whole squared. So 10 minus 0 gives the result 10. So 10 squared plus negative minus 1 minus 7 gives the result negative 8. So negative 8 squared is basically positive. We have to multiply negative 8 with negative 8. The result always gives us a positive result. So square root of 10 squared is 100 plus negative 8 squared is 64. Add both of these two numbers, we will be having our answer. So 100 plus 64 gives the result square root of 164. So actually the answer is under that square root because we have to write down n in the answer. No need to write down square root or finding the square roots or like this. Actually, it's basically paper one's question. So how we can find without calculator square root 164? So we have to just write down the answer n, which is equals to 164. This is first type of the question. So we are quickly moving towards the second type of the question. In the second type of the question, there are 2 points, P and you can say R and O are given for this specific part. So I've taken part C of question number 20 in 1 to October November 2020, 2018. So actually what is being asked in the question, which of the points are, or whether P are closer to point O. So actually we have to find the distance of R with O and P with O, and then we will check which one gives the less answer. So the lesser answer will be the point closer to point O. So first of all, I'm solving for R and O. So distance between R and O. So I have to suppose point R as the first point. It's negative 6 and 0. What about point O? Point O is actually in this case 0, comma 0. It's the origin point. So if I'm taking this as the first point, x1, y1, this is x2, y2. So RO is same as the distance. It is square root of x2 minus x1 whole squared plus y2 minus y1 whole squared. So replacing the values, RO equals to x2. What is x2? I've suppose here that's 0, 0 minus and 1 minus is in the value. It becomes positive 6. So 0 plus 6 whole square plus y2. What is y2? It is 0 and y1 is also 0. So 0 minus 0 gives result 0. What is you can say it's nothing will be left here in the y coordinates. So you can see 6 squared, or you can square and square root will be cut. So answer will be 6. So answer will be 6 for RO. RO equals to 6. What about the other point, which is you can say we have to check whether point R is closer or point O is closer. Now we have to solve for P and O. So I'm taking point P as the first point. P is negative 3 and 4, and point O is 0 and 0. So I'm taking it as the first point, x1, y1, this is x2 and y2. So PO, finding the distance between P and O, square root of x2, x2 is 0, minus and 1 minus is in the value, so it becomes positive 3 whole square, plus 0 and minus 4 square. So PO, so 0 plus 3 means 3, 3 square is 9, plus negative square always gives the positive result, it gives 16. So PO equals to square root of 25. 16 plus 9 is 25. So 25 is a perfect square. So we can write down the answer quite easily because it's the square of 5. So answer is 5. So the one which is having less answer will be closer to point O. So we can see from clearly from these two answers that point O is closer to point P. So we can simply write down point P here in the answer. Actually, it's required in the answer. We have to just mention the point. So we have shown our working here. So we are quickly going to the third type of the questions in which we have to show that distance between A and B is same as the distance between B and C. Actually, we have to show it. So I'm solving, you can say both of them simultaneously. So for A and B, point A will be taken as the first point, and point B will be taken as the second point, negative 1 and 6. So for the other case, point B is taken as the first point for BC calculation, and point C will be taken as the second point. So supposing all of these values means uh, this is x1, y1, this is x2, y2 for AB. This is for BC. For this will be x1, y1. This will be x2, y2. So simply write down the formula, distance formula, that will be x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Replacing the values in A, B, and B, C, respective values of, you can say, first point and second point. For A, B, we can write down the values inside that formula. X2 is negative 1, and the value of x1 is 7. So negative 7 whole square, then plus y2. Y2 is 6. 6 minus 0 whole square equals to square root. So for point B, C, C is the second point. So x2 will be the x coordinate of point C. That's negative 1. So negative 1 is also in the formula, or is in the value of x coordinate of point B. So one negative is in the formula, one is in the value. It becomes positive, then whole square, then plus. What is y2? Y2 is minus 4 and minus 6 whole square. So minus 1 minus 7, it gives negative 8 square, then plus, it gives 6 square, equals to negative 1 and positive 1 will be cut. So nothing will be left in the change of x-axis. So only there is, you can say, difference of y-axis remain. So it will be negative 10 square. So what's the answer of this? It will be negative 8 squared is positive 64, then plus 6 squared is 36, equals to the answer of this thing is 100, because negative squared gives positive. Negative 10 multiplied by negative 10 gives the result positive 100. So the answer of this thing is square root of 100, square root of 100. So if we simplify, because 100 is the perfect square, so we can write down 10 equals to 10. So it is clearly shown that point A and B are having the same distance as point B and C. So this is the third type of the question that usually come in CIs. So coming to the fourth type of the question in length of a line segment. In fourth type of the question, there is a grid on which point P and Q are given. So we have to find the length of PQ, but in order to find the length, we need to find the coordinates of those 2 points. So point P. So we're checking on the x-axis, it is exactly lying below -4. And what about the y coordinate? It is -3. What about point Q? Point Q is here. It is above 3 on x-axis, and it is right towards 5. This is 5. So if we are going to suppose which point is the first point, which is the second point, so I am taking point P as the first point, so it will be x1 and y1. So for Q point, the x coordinate will be x2 and y2. As you remember the distance formula, that is square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So replace these values into this formula, we will be having our answer. So what is x2? x2 in this case is x2 in this case will be 3. 3 minus, and there is negative in the value of x1, so it becomes positive 4. So whole square, then plus y2. y2 is positive 5. So 5 and minus 3, it becomes positive 3 whole square. So what's the answer of this? 3 plus 4 gives 7. 7 squared is 49, plus 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 squared is 64. Add both of these, so the result will give us uh, 3. 9 plus 4 is 3. 1 is carried. 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. So square root of 113 is the answer. This is actually paper 2 question, so you can write down this thing in the calculator. You can solve, you can write down the answer in decimal form. It will be 10 point something. So actually, I'm going to discuss the type of questions here. So for the last type of a question, fifth type of a question, what we have to do here, in fifth type of the question, point D is given and point E is given, but in point E, both of the coordinates are same, but both are unknown. But the distance between point D and E are given, that is square root of 20, and we have to write down the possible coordinates of point E. So how to solve this? So I'm taking point D as the first point and writing down the coordinates 4 and 6, and point E will be taken as the second point, coordinates are E and E. So it is the first point. So if it is the first point, the coordinates are x1 and y1, and for point E, it will be x2 and y2. So DE distance will be equals to the formula that is square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So DE distance is actually given. We can write down square root of 20 in place of DE, so which is equals to x2. What is x2? x2 is E minus x1 is 4. E minus 4 whole square, then plus what is y2? y2 is also E. So E minus and y1 is 6. whole square. So if we take both sides square, that square roots on both sides will be cancelled. We can do it directly as well because whole square is here and whole square is on the left hand side as well. So 20 equals to e minus 4 whole square then plus e minus 6 whole square. So we can apply algebra here because these two are whole square formula, means a minus b whole square formula. So I'm simply putting that formula here. So e squared, this means that a squared minus 2ab plus b squared is the formula. A minus b whole square will be equals to a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So putting this formula here, so e squared first means a is e. So e squared minus 2 times e, that is a, whatever would be, b is 4, then plus b is 4 squared. Then apply plus and e. What is e in this case is a, e squared, then plus minus 2 times e times 6, and then plus 6 squared. So 20 equals to e squared minus 8e and plus 4 squared is 16, then plus e squared minus 6 2 times is 12, 12e plus 36. So bringing all of the terms onto one side of the equation, I'm bringing that 20 onto the other side of the equation and writing down 0 in front of the equation. So 0 equals to e squared plus e squared. Both are like terms. We can add them. That will be 2e squared minus 8e and minus 12e gives us minus 20e. 16 plus 36 will give us positive 52 and minus 20. 20 will be gone to the right hand side. So it will be subtracted. So 0 equals to 2e squared minus 20e. Then 52 minus 20 will be 32. So actually there is a quadratic equation we have found here, but for solving quadratic equation, if there is something common, we can take it common and make our equation simpler. So it will be 2 will be the highest common factor among all of these three terms. So 2 will be taken as common. E squared minus 2 how many times makes 20 will be 10. E and plus 2 16 times will be 32. So 2 will be divided onto the side. So it will be 0 equals to e squared minus 10e plus 16. So this is a quadratic equation in its simplest form. So we can apply midterm break here. We cannot apply completing square because in the midterm it will not be satisfying that. So I'm applying that midterm. So 16 factors that will be added, it will be 10 that are 2 and 8. So e squared, both will be negative, minus 2e minus 8e, then plus 16. So 0 equals to e will be taken as common, e minus 2, and minus 8 will be common, e, and this sign will be changed, it will be minus 2. So e minus 2 will be taken as common, and times e minus 8. So bringing if two terms are going to multiply, either first term equals to 0 or the second term will be equals to 0. So if two terms are going to multiply, answer is 0. So basically we have to do like this. So we are having two answers equals to 2 here and e equals to positive 8 here. So what are the answers actually? So actually the answers are, if we put 2 here, the next coordinate must be the same thing. That will also be e. So if first one is 2, the second one must be 2 as well, because e and e. So the same thing will be happen for the second point. If x coordinate is e and which is 8, the second coordinate, that is y, must be 8 as well. So these are all the different types of questions that involve length of a line segment. So if you have any queries in this topic or any topic from coordinate geometry or any other topic from you can say O levels and IGCSE, do write down in the comment section, and kindly subscribe and share my channel.